Alright, chapter 200 video is posted and all good to go. Looks like that'll be it for me for the rest of the year. Time to kick back and relax for the 201 translations later in 2025.
Fight!
So, as a Christmas New Year's present to all of us, the fine folks over at xunscans got us these translations out in record time. And now here I am trying to get this video out before the new year. I mean, I could have waited until the new year to post this video, but I find making myself in the last video a liar even funnier. So I'm going to try to keep this short to hopefully get it out before the clock strikes midnight here on the 31st. Shouldn't be too much of a problem as just a bunch more turns on the board game. And I was correct in my assumption from the last time that this was going to be a three-parter. But before we get to that, I have a quick PSA to all you artistic types out there. I see you just got that work tablet from Santa this year, and even though Christmas was less than a week ago, it somehow already has collected dust. Well, fear no more on what to use it on. We have received word that xunscans, the team behind the scanlation for 100 Girlfriends, is looking for redrawers and typesetters to help tackle the series in 2025. So if you're someone who enjoys 100 Girlfriends, and I know you do because you're watching this video, and you have digital art experience and a willingness to learn, you should go apply, because the more team members they have working on it, the faster the translations come out, which means my videos come out faster. It's a win-win for all involved. I'll leave a link of where to apply in the description below. Best of luck to all those who apply. I'm Moonlight150, and this is my overview of the latest 100 Girlfriends manga chapter, Chapter 201, 100 Girlfriends Party Part 2. And for the final time in 2024, be sure to support the series wherever and however you can with its official release in your area, as well as supporting the scanlation team by viewing the chapters where they post them. Now, back to board games. As a quick refresher, the god of board games is here to help the family celebrate 200 chapters with a literal trip down memory lane, where everyone is taking turns rolling a die, and then afflicted with a blessing or curse depending on your point of view, as it correlates to a previous chapter. Got it?
Okay, we are cooked.
Let's hop back into the madness. Yahoo! Momoha is up to roll, and with a low roll of 2 she hits chapter 74, which has too long of a title that I'm not going to read. But it's where we meet Kasuri's parents and learn that they are all physically 8 years old. So because of that, Momoha gets transformed to being 8 years old, or as the god of board games puts it, become Zun, I'm going to get you for this.
What'd I do?
Go, just go.
Kasurian, there's that L, I don't like that L. Become Kusurilvanian, okay. Or as the god of board game puts it, become Kusurilvanian. And newly aged up Chio, just refer back to the last chapter if you need an explanation, takes on the responsibility of confiscating the liquor from the 8-year-old. Those cops are still waiting outside for me, aren't they? Karane is up next, and with a bigger roll of 7 we land at Kishka's introduction chapter of chapter 81. And instead of obtaining a chivalric spirit, we instead get the much funnier baby spirit, turning Karane into a baby. But unlike the other baby chapters of literally turning into a baby, she is just one mentally. And only after writing that sentence do I realize how chaotic this series is that I have to differentiate the 2 different ways characters become babies in this series. And baby-brained Karane is too cute for Hakari to handle at the moment, since she is also super susceptible to cute things because of reasons that happened in the previous chapter. And we lasted a whole 3 chapters since Hakari and Karane made out. That's gotta be a new low record.
2 whole days without nonsense. For a good run, Mr. Squidward. But we both knew it couldn't last.
Rin is up to roll, and she lands a whopping 10 to make the group make up some ground, and lands on chapter 91, the equipment chapter, which has Rin stiffen up and take on the form of a blunt object. And out of instinct, these 3 know exactly what to do with it, and go into the violence-pleasing form. They're all on the same wavelength, it's so cute. Kurumi is up to roll and keeps the hot streak going with another 10, landing us on Mai's introduction chapter of 101. And Kurumi begins treating everyone like she's their little sister. At least it's not the obsessive little sister like Mai is. Don't know if I'd be able to handle that kind of Kurumi. Iku breaks the big streak with a mere 2 roll, and lands on chapter 103, Hakari's Heat. Oh no. Overly horny Iku. Earl, get the blurs and sensors ready. I don't think we're ready for whatever is about to happen on the next page. Oh, she just loses all her emotions, and with it losing all joy from her masochism tendencies. Also, I like how Meru comments that all the light has vanished from her eyes. Takes one to know one, huh? Himika finally gets some screen time as she takes her roll of a 6 and lands on chapter 109, right in the middle of the pretend drinking party, which gets Himika all kinds of buzzed, which her drunken state has her cozying up to the new older Chio, asking her what's the most abnormal thing about her. Still seeking that validation even in a drunken state, I see. Meru is next for the role, and with her 7, she lands on Rin's group activity of zombie nurses in chapter 116, and becomes a zombie nurse herself. And much like Sue says, it's rather fitting given her dead eyes already. But that doesn't seem to bother baby Nemu as she relishes being held by her, because I'm guessing of her new love of violence and gore that we explored in a past chapter. Oh, I just love this image so much, it's so cute. Kusuri is up, and after rolling a 6, she pushes Sue the 2 along to reach chapter 122, which was the home date with Meimei chapter, and Kusuri becomes enwrapped in a stuffed toy version of herself, which gathers the attention of baby brain Karane, who immediately goes into Bam Bam Rubble mode and begins violently beating the toy Kusuri. Mimi is up next and beautifully rolls a 1, taking them right into the next chapter of Sue's introduction. So Mimi will now be spending the rest of the game performing numbers. Seeing the opportunity, Sue moves over to her so they can form 22, another addition to the massive 2 festival that is going on. Ira is up, and with a 4, she lands on chapter 127, Night Pool, and she is now limited to using only 2 words per speech bubble, and apparently forced to be in her bathing suit. Huh. The god of board games didn't mention that being a necessity, yet made it happen anyway. Guess he wanted to see Ira in her bathing suit, much like the rest of us. Meanwhile, Momiji has been on quite the adventure since we last saw her in the previous chapter. After spending some time in the land of milk and booby, she finds herself back to the holy grail of the Brazilian. And fun fact, you can actually see tiny Momiji climbing on various people throughout this chapter, like Nano here from earlier. But because of how tiny she is, Ira is afraid of hurting her and freaks out. Also, cultural fun fact, we see Ira here being afraid of rolling a 4. This is because in Japanese culture, 4 is considered unlucky, due to the pronunciation being very similar to the word of death. So Japanese culture tends to avoid the number 4 whenever they can, like not listing a 4th floor of a building, or any room number with having a 4 in it. Kind of like how here in America the number 13 is considered unlucky, and we tend to do the same thing by not listing the 13th floor. This can also extend to things like gift giving, like they'll avoid giving a gift set of 4 and would rather do a gift set of 3 or 5. And that was your fun fact for the evening. The more you know. Nano is up to roll, and with a 7 we land on chapter 134, Tell Me in Confidence. And now Nano is forced to communicate only through charades. Oh good, it's only charades, and not dealing with parental trauma.
What do you mean?
Kishka rolls a 7 on her turn, and we head over to chapter 141, Tama's Introduction, which puts Kishka into her very own cat attire and now must continue the rest of the game making as many terrible cat puns as possible. But since Tama is in heat and spies another cat, she demands a cat pile. And that's where we'll leave things off in 2024. The family is in shambles with their afflictions, with only a handful remaining waiting to roll their turn. That being Shizuka, Meimei, Ms. Natty, Uto, Matsuri, Usa-chan, Saki, and Rentaro himself if he even rolls. I don't know if he will or not. I also wanted to point out a fun little thing here with Yamame. I love that even though this is a still image, you can see the joke they are trying to portray here, that she's not opening her mouth to talk. She is frozen in that pose with that change in art style. Can't wait to see that in animation in 10 years when we get to this chapter. Speaking of anime, Season 2 is right around the corner, like I said in the last video, and I still don't know how I'm gonna cover it. So help me out by suggesting other content creators that you watch who review anime so I can pick up some ideas, especially channels who review anime episodes and compare them to their manga counterparts. That will be my research during the break week. And yes, there is a break week coming up as the magazine they are published in is going on break for the new year. So we just have to wait a bit longer for the conclusion of this 2 festival. And last thing before I go, I know I don't talk much about the other content on this channel in these videos, but I am right now, as we will be doing an award show and discussion, discussing who we voted for and why for various topics in gaming for the year, and I'm its host. So if you enjoy a bunch of idiots getting into squabbles about video games, be sure to tune in next week. And that will do it for me and this channel for 2024. Thank you all once again for all who have subscribed. No matter what you sub for, whether it be my manga reviews, our video game podcast, or even better, if it's both. And here's to an even bigger and better 2025. From me, Earl, and the rest of the Slice of Gaming crew, have a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone!